Have you ever been doxxed? What about your loved ones? If not, you're truly lucky, because doxing is everywhere, and it's led to devastating consequences. Before we unbox the dox, let's talk about why it's important to discuss it in the first place. Case in point, Myanmar. Myanmar's civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi was removed from power in a military coup in 2021. Doxing became prevalent in the region a few months later. Thousands of politically active women were doxed. They were abused on Telegram by supporters of the military, who released sex videos to shame and silence these women. Sexual violence was used as a targeted weapon. As a result, many women were even forced to leave the country. This is not an isolated case. Doxing has claimed many victims, including Elon Musk. The Twitter CEO said he was doxed when the location of his jet was disclosed online. To understand doxing in greater length, let's start with the basics. What is doxing? It's a form of online invasion of privacy. More specifically, it means intentional revelation of a person's private information online, and it happens without their consent, often with malicious intent. What does it include? It can include sharing a variety of things, say phone numbers, home addresses, ID numbers, photographs, essentially any sensitive or private information, and it can make the victim identifiable. What happens when such information is made public? It can potentially expose the victim further. Even the safety of those close to them comes in question. The consequences can include more harassment, humiliation, real-life threats, and stalking or in-person encounters. Why is it called doxing? There are many other terms for this. There are different explanations for why it's called doxing. One reason is, it comes from the phrase dropping documents. With time, documents became dox. The term is not new. It's been around since the 1990s. But can you report doxing? Sometimes. And this begs the obvious question, where and how can you report it? Let's start with Facebook's parent company Meta. It does not use the term doxing in its policy, but it recognizes users sharing personally identifiable information about others, and it considers this a violation of its community standards. It reviews any piece of content against its community standards. It can also remove such content. And Facebook users can also use specific reporting channels on the platform if they are concerned. Now coming to TikTok, it clearly defines doxing in its guidelines. It can ban both the collection and publication of individuals' personal information. Users can report a specific item on the platform. On Twitter, you can report users who tweet private information. This can be about themselves or somebody else. Users found in violation of the community policies can be temporarily locked out of their account. And a second violation can lead to a permanent suspension. Is doxing illegal? It depends on the jurisdiction. In Asia, Singapore has outlawed most forms of intentional harassment. This includes doxing. Violators can be fined up to nearly $3,800 and/or jailed for up to 6 months. In Indonesia, doxing cases have been on the rise. The term doxing is not known in the Indonesian legal system, but action can be taken under the Personal Data Protection Law. In India, there is no law in place to prevent or punish doxing directly, though action can be taken under the IPC and IT Acts. In the UK, there are clear guidelines for prosecutors to handle cases of doxing. The punishments can vary. In the US, measures to combat doxing vary across states. Places like Nevada and California have banned doxing. In 2021, Hong Kong authorities amended the data privacy law to include doxing. It invites jail sentences of up to 5 years and fines of up to $129,000. Who are the victims of doxing? While anyone can be doxed, experts say women are more likely to be the targets. Cases of doxing against social justice activists and journalists are also on the rise. How can you protect yourself against doxing? It's important to remember that the responsibility to prevent doxing lies with those violating privacy, and not with the victims. That being said, some preventive steps for online protection can go a long way. Get familiar with doxing-related policies on social platforms. Learn how to report abuse on social media. Become more aware of doxing laws in your country. Check the accessibility of your personal information on different platforms. For example, check who can view your email ID or phone number on social media platforms. Doxing is widespread, and it's one of the most insidious forms of cybercrime. So learn how you can beat it. Pardon the cliché, but knowledge is power.